going to do. We're going to be doing 3, 7, 14, and 21-day retreats, you know, in southern India in December. We had to cancel it, of course, last year, but we anticipate being able to do it this year. Oh, welcome. Still, we got people here. Hey, folks, hi, Dolly. Text me back. I'm looking here. Hey, oh, yeah, from the back. Hey, Marguerite, how you doing? You kind of text me, folks. I like it. I mean, just say hello. Say you're good looking. I mean, something, anything, just so I got some feedback, you know. Sounds good. But hey, I have one question for you. Somebody told me they weren't getting the reminder emails before the webinar. Did you get reminder emails? You should have got one like an hour before and one like 30 minutes ago. Somebody texted me and said, hey, they got no reminder emails at all. None. And I was like, okay, now somebody did, they said they just got the reminder just now. So I don't know what's going on. Well, let me disconnect my son's computer, of course. Let me just use a, sorry, son. Gonna disconnect the kids because they got playing games and they use up my, oh, let's make sure the VPN. Remember, you're supposed to remind me for the VPN there, Sean?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm checking it. Already recording. Oh, darn. Didn't get that setting right. So it's already recording. So I'm going to have to do some video editing. Oh, gosh. Yeah, somebody said they just got, I don't like the reminders that went out late or something. I don't know what happened. Thanks, people, for joining us. Is this Connie? I'm going to text you, Connie. Hi, is this Connie who went to from France? I can only see your first name. So I can only see Martha, Michelle. One of them says on behalf of, and I can't see Wanda. Hi, Wanda. Some of them I can't see the name. When you log in with the phone, I can't see your name. I only see a phone number. But hello, folks. And text me back. What kind of aging issues are you concerned about? You know, we're going to talk about first, we're going to cover first identifying the cause, symptoms of aging. And of course, this is related to our skin, our eyes, our ears, you know, our cardiovascular system, our reproductive system, our muscles, our endocrine system. We're going to talk about all of these areas of aging. I know a lot of women are just thinking about their wrinkles and their skin, but there's more to aging than just wrinkles and skin. But we will cover that, of course. Let me put it, there we go. Oh yeah, we got a little crowd showing up here. Yeah, we're gonna start in just a minute. I see a Michelle. Okay, okay, I think I got a minute left. I'm about ready to, it's already recording, so to be careful what I'm saying here. We got a lot of herbs and get my tea. We got a crowd. I'm ready. No more quiet. Any aging complaints there, folks? Wrinkles, hair loss, graying, degenerative bones. We're going to cover it all. Rasyana Chikitsa. That's what we're talking about today, and particularly Jaiva Rasyana. So I think I'm going to start here. 6:05. It's usually my kickoff time. I got some notes, got plenty of herbs as usual. Can you go grab me that milk there, Sean? Got some rishtas. I got all kinds. We got pipali, bala, ashwagandha, shatavari. Let's do ashwagandha, shatavari first. We do have shilajit. You got the cap? Do we got a jar of those capsules, or we just have them in the bag here? Okay, welcome, folks. We got a good crowd. Okay, I got the bag. So, okay, I'm going to start here. If you could make sure we don't get disturbed. The phones are out there? All right, I'm going to start here, ladies and gentlemen. It's already recording. Good thing that's what happened last time. It was recording and I hit stop. Oh, yeah, and here we got a little Rasiana. What's this? What's good for building? Raw milk. Raw, folks, raw milk. Okay, let me take my retreat down. Love that raw milk. We're going to hopefully remember to talk about that because it's good Rasiana, aloe. Okay, let me get my retreat. There's the retreat there. You can click on that. And of course, I will be putting up this little offer here for anybody who is a new client. If you click on that and book before midnight tonight, mentioned you went to the webinar, you know, all you got to do is mention it. You know, I mean, I don't really know who comes or not. And I'll give you this 25 off your first appointment. Okay, let's start. Feel free to chat me. We definitely got a good crowd. Here's some questions here. Oh, hair loss, men, healthy hormones, women, menopause, strong heart, athlete's feet. Well, athlete's feet's a little out of the subject. Vegan for teeth, bone density, jaw. Okay, yeah, you're in the public chat room. I'd prefer you just chat me up here. Oh, yeah, okay, no, that's it, public chat room. Let me just go there. I disabled the question and answer. So, okay, just I'm looking at the public chat. So I see those questions you just asked. Starting to get creep, drying skin. Okay, I'll address those. But while I'm talking, feel free to chat a little bit more, and we're going to begin right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me today in this live webinar on natural treatments for old age, according to Ayurveda. So, of course, I'm covering Ayurveda to the extent of my knowledge, and this is all based on the wisdom and ancient teachings of Ayurveda, and I'm teaching it to the best of my knowledge and my experience. The more could be contributed to the subject. This is a vast subject, and in fact, it's a specific area of Ayurveda. I mean, mostly I'm in we call kaya chikisa, which means like internal medicine using herbs. This is my specialty for the management of disease. So kaya chikisa, this is in Ashtanga Ayurveda, the 8 types of Ayurveda treatment. Kaya chikisa is the one where I'm trained and focused, and that's management of disease and treatment. Now, this is a different area of Ayurveda called rasna chikisa. So it's treatment, rejuvenation treatment. Chikisa type of treatment. Rasa is the liquid and the juice of your body that makes a nice complexion and the glow and the nourishment of all your tissues. That's the rasna. So this is the treatment of this. So it's a very specialized area. And then specifically when we talk about old age, under kaya chikisa, rasana chikisa, there's many other categories like dosha rasana. So that's like rejuvenating the dosha. There's sotra rasana, rejuvenating a system, say after a type of treatment. And then there's ojas rasana, which is treatment of the immune system, rejuvenating the immune system. But we're talking about jaiva rasana, which jaiva rasana means is rejuvenation to increase longevity. So we're in the broader picture of Ayurveda. There's Ashtanga Ayurveda, 8 parts of Ayurveda. And this is one part, rasana chikisa, rejuvenation therapy, we could say. And of that, we're in the category of a Jaiva Rasyana, the increasing of longevity and the decreasing of aging signs and symptoms. So it's a science, and it's not a theory. Obviously, all through time, people have been concerned about aging, and it's science in Ayurveda. And unfortunately, with me, not a lot of people come to me for this type of treatment. Maybe this webinar will inspire people more to come for this type of rejuvenation treatment. Of course, mostly we're treating people for disease and serious imbalances and serious chronic health conditions. And there are very few people are coming, hey, help me live longer or reduce my aging symptoms. We just don't see these people showing up because most people are waiting until the condition progresses and is quite serious, often life-threatening or chronic, and they're unable to treat it in any other manner before they seek help. It's my experience. Or in my case, often the people are going to the doctors first for years, sometimes decades, and then turning to Ayurveda. But in fact, after these treatments, we should always do some Rasyana Chikitsa, some rejuvenation therapy after these treatments we we're doing for chronic health conditions, which often include forms of detoxification and cleansing of the body. So when you're cleansing the tissue of the body, maybe you have joint pain, we're cleaning out the toxins in your joints, and that's how Ayurveda manages and cures arthritic joint pain. Is they're cleaning the toxins out of your joints. Same with muscles. We clean the toxins out of your muscles. And of course, there's also other aspects of that, but it's a lot of the health conditions we have today are due to toxin accumulation, congestion, blockage, stagnation. And so we need cleansing therapies like Panchakarma, Shodhana Chikitsa, Shamana Chikitsa. These are all detoxification types of treatments for different systems and tissues in the body. But after this type of treatment's done, say you came and you wanted to lose 50 pounds. So you fasted, you took herbs, you followed the Ayurvedic diet, you lost your 50 pounds. Well, after this, you should do this type of rejuvenation therapy to rejuvenate your tissue. Say you had even arthritis or any type of inflammatory or congestive condition, and we treated it with diet and herbs. And after you're done, you should be doing this type of rejuvenation therapy. So for those of you who are my clients, particularly if you're already done with your treatment and you're just happy clients, then you should still consider doing follow-up appointments to allow me to rejuvenate the tissues after treatment. And this goes even for cardiovascular problems. Say you had a heart problem, high blood pressure, or a liver problem with cholesterol, and we treated it and it's better. After we're done, we should do rejuvenation treatment for the same systems and the same tissue, and not just say, okay, we're done. This is per Ayurveda. So this type of Rasyana therapy, or rejuvenation therapy, that's what it's used for after cleansing, detoxification, and the management of chronic health conditions. So if you have chronic health conditions, you got high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, blood sugar, inflammation, pain, urinating at night, kidney problems, fatty liver issues, any problem with any organ or system in your body, then, you're not really going to be focused on this type of Rasyana rejuvenation therapy. You need to treat those health conditions first, and then this follows. Of course, sometimes women come to me, oh, what about my skin? My skin, I got these little pimples and spots. And I sometimes say, well, we got to focus on you're not constipated, you're constipated, you have poor digestion, you're not sleeping through the night, you're having anxiety attacks, or you're overweight. You have all these other issues. We'll have to deal with this, improving your skin and stopping your hair to fall out later, because this is just the procedure in Ayurveda, is to treat these chronic health conditions first. And of course, one chronic health condition can be just depletion, high vata rudhi, or high vata, which is, the qualities of light, cold, dry, active, mobile, and rough. If these get into your system, into your joints, for example, your bones, then you have too much vata, or too much air in your bones, and then they become weak and depleted. So, you know, when you have depletion in the body, then you're having aging. You're aging tissue because it's depleted. So there's often cases where we have to do both simultaneously. Say you have a thin, underweight vata and she has joint pain, but we cannot cleanse and detox too much because she's already underweight. So we do some cleansing therapies to clean out the joints and the muscles and the colon, and then some rejuvenation therapy at the same time with the food so she doesn't become more depleted. So it becomes more complex in a way because we have to rejuvenate the person and detox them simultaneously. So this is the third category of treatment when we're doing both simultaneously. And in fact, all clients, when they come, I have to decide where I'm going to lean with my treatment, towards rejuvenation or towards cleansing, or a combination of the two. So today we're talking about this type of rejuvenation therapy and the signs that these therapies are working, and the signs that you have good, you're rejuvenated and healthy, is of course the balance of all the doshas. Many people have misunderstanding of what is healthy. They just think, well, I'm going around every day, getting through my day. I'm not in pain. Maybe you're not taking any meds. So that's the conclusion, that you must be healthy. But in fact, according to Ayurveda, you should have long life. You should live to 100 years. Your aging process should be very slow. You should maintain your youthfulness. You should have good memory, good intelligence still, and of course, a good digestion and good elimination. And all the doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, are balanced. So this is a true sign of health. And of course, many of us don't have this state of optimum health, mostly because our standards are too low. We don't acknowledge a lot of our health problems. Like if we're not going to the bowel movements every day, we live with it. I think it's normal. If we're urinating at night, we live with it. If we don't sleep through the night, we live with it. If we have a little joint pain, we live with it. And this is the problem, because all these conditions progress. So here we're going to talk about rejuvenating the person and achieving this type of optimum health after you've treated all your major health conditions. And then according to Ayurveda, this person who has excellent health, or balance of samadosha, balance of all doshas, and good ojas, immunity, would have luster to their face, not dull, have good color, good complexion, not pale, and of course not too red or inflamed as well, and should have good power of concentration, and good energy, vitality, confidence, and courage, and clarity of sensory perception, and of course good ojas, or good immunity, resistance to disease. So these are the signs of good health, and rejuvenation therapy is the treatment to achieve this after you've balanced your doshas, have a good agni digestion, good elimination, and no chronic health conditions. So again, I repeat, you have to take care of those issues first. So let's look at some of the common symptoms to aging, and we just go by these areas according to Ayurveda. The skin, of course, lack of fat underneath the skin. Thin skin can be an issue. Aging, the skin, it's a poor metabolism of the liver, of the fat, and then the skin gets thin and the bones start protruding and the veins start protruding. This is a sign of aging. Grain of hair. I think I'm not doing too bad there for 59. A little gray there on the side, but still going. Still got some brown ones coming out here on the top. It's a good sign. Eyes, a decrease in the pupil size is a sign of aging, and of course a decrease of your vision capacity. Ears, decrease of hearing, and highly sensitive to loud sounds, also another sign of aging. Cardiovascular system, the cardiac output decreases, so often you can end up with low blood pressure as you age. And of course, as we age is a vata condition. As per Ayurveda, in beginning of life is kapha, so we are a pudgy little baby. And then pitta, we're at our prime in the middle of our life, our ambition and our drive. And then later in life, we enter a vata stage where we start to, our tissue start to become depleted. And vata is the most aging. See, vata is a type of depletion in tissue, so it's aging. Pitta also is inflammation in the tissue and burning. It's also depleting. Kapha, of course, in the tissue is building and strengthening, congesting. So it's vata and pitta mostly are the causes of aging. Well, kapha is causing more sangha, blockage, congestion, and weight gain. So reproductive system, of course, less elasticity for the women and more dryness. For men, enlargement of prostate and decreased renal blood flow. Of course, in your mind, less ability to concentrate. In your nervous system, decrease your stress tolerance. And even your digestive system, you can have less enzymes through, the pancreatic blockage. So the enzymes aren't secreting as much. Your liver is maybe not secreting as much, gallbladder. So these are common. Even decrease in colon motions, muscular skeletal system, bone mass can deplete later in life. A loss of muscle tone can deplete later in life. And even endocrine system can produce less hormones, including, growth hormones, of course, and lower estrogen. So these are signs and symptoms of aging. Now, in Ayurveda, we have 3 forms of treatment for, of course, is changing the diet, and 2, the lifestyle, and 3, herbal remedies. So these are 3 categories we're going to talk about here. And then, according to Ayurveda too, we can treat different tissue in the body that is needs to be rejuvenated. So if you were to very serious about aging and this rejuvenation type of treatment, and you were my client and you came to me, which I hope after this webinar more people do, and say, hey, just rejuvenate me, I have no more health problems. That would be wonderful if I had these clients. Maybe I should have a special price. If you're 5 chronic health conditions, then you pay full price. But if you have no major health issues and you just want rejuvenation, and then maybe we should have discount price for you folks. But anyway, you saw the discount right there, which I'm giving you if you mention this, that you saw the webinar. But in Ayurveda, I would assess your 7 main tissue in your body and determine which tissues are depleted. Mostly it's going to be too much vata, or sometimes too much pitta, or kapha is blocking the nourishment of the tissue. But we would see which tissues are needed of treatment. First of all, we just starting off in a general sense, and we'd look at rasa first. This is like the liquid of your body, the moisture of your body, your lymphatic system. The rasa almost means like juice, So if you have a lot of rasa, then you're a juicy person. There's moisture, there's juice. It's the opposite of a dried out person. Dried out, it doesn't sound very sexy. Everybody want to be a little juicy. So juice is a sign, juiciness. Rasa means juicy. So, in Ayurveda, there's some little joke. It's Ayurveda joke. And you see an attractive woman with full figure. You can say, oh, baby, you got nice rasa. So this is this rasa, this tissue that's making up the full body shape of her. And this is opposite of course, somebody who's very dry, dehydrated. They're having low rasa, depleted rasa. So we look at your skin. This rasa, of course, is covering your skin. The surface of your skin is example of your rasa. A lot of dryness and spots, or shows that this on the skin shows the imbalance of the rasa. So if you had a lot of wrinkles, we'd be treating a rasa. And then rakta is your blood. Any depletion in your blood. As sometimes as we age, digestion gets poor because of lower enzymes from our pancreas, less bile from our liver. We're unable to metabolize and digest nutrients and minerals sufficiently. And then we start to have depletion in the blood and nutritional deficiencies show up. So that's rakta, depletion in the blood. It's very similar to what the doctor would find when he did blood work and he saw, oh, you're low in vitamin D, you're low in calcium, you're low in zinc. This is depleted rakta, depleted blood. We treat in Ayurveda. We're going to cover some of these herbs that do this. And then mamsa is the muscle. So if you're very weak, you can't pick up the trash and your muscles are sore and weak, not inflamed, but just weak, then we rejuvenate your muscles. And then meda, fat. If you're skinny, bony, no fat, ribs are sticking out, you're underweight, then, you know, this is a depleted state of fat tissue, metadatsu. And ashti, you know, this is when, you know, there's degenerative bones, osteopenia, and then we treat the bones. Medja is a nervous system. When there's aging and depletion in the medja, or nervous system, we become hypersensitive, nervous, and even more anxious. And then, of course, the reproductive system, where, of course, you can have, for men, you can have E.D. and other type of male issues. And, of course, for women, a little out of our scope today, because, again, dealing with the reproductive system is a specialized category in Ayurveda. So we're not going to spend much time there because it's a whole nother subject. So first thing to do would be diagnose yourself, or allow somebody like an Ayurvedic practitioner like myself to diagnose which tissues in your body need treatment of this type of rejuvenation treatment, because there's some foods and herbs that are specific for that treatment. For example, cucumbers and zucchini are very good for your skin and your rasa because they're juicy, you know, and beets and carrots are good for your blood because they got a lot of minerals. A pumpkin and a dal are good for your mamsa because they have, the dal has the protein, we could say, and pumpkin and even mango helps building muscles. And ghee and is good for your fat tissue and your nerves. Milk is good for your bones and your reproductive system. So that's just an example. We're going to talk about some herbs for different areas as well. But I wanted to cover some. So there's diet. Diet is very critical here. So anybody who's trying to improve their skin or identify which tissues need to be restored or rejuvenated after treatment, then I will adjust the diet, will make a difference. And then also lifestyle is very important. For Vata, to rejuvenate yourself, you know, after maybe a long period of stress, surgery, or detoxification, or Ayurvedic treatment, or even a type of chemotherapy, then you'd want to, this is when you want to do this rejuvenation treatment, when you're depleted, burned out, this type of state, or long periods of detoxing or fasting. So lifestyle habits, we'd want to change dinacharya, our daily schedule. For Vata, minimize travel, not be traveling, maintain only positive relationships with people, no negative relationships, cut, finish, let them go. And avoid unknown places and situations that could induce anxiety and fear and loneliness. Vata shouldn't be alone, so you should take a nice vacation, get away from your work, and not travel and rest in one place. For Pitta person, you know, they should not indulge in arguing, controlling people, forgiving themselves for mistakes, and not being too much of a perfectionist. I read that and I thought to myself, oh, that's me. Darn. I need to chill out, not be such a perfectionist. But, you know, in my profession, I think it's very important to be a perfectionist because I'm dealing with people's health, and I like that quality in me. But when I'm on vacation and I want to rejuvenate myself, I need to let go of that quality in me that is trying to always do things perfectly and is possibly too tough on myself. And of course, everybody who works for me knows I'm too tough on everybody who works for me. But when I'm on vacation, I need to chill out and relax. And if you're a kapha type of person, that actually the opposite, you know, you should let go of, you know, your dependence, your attachments to things, and be more active, be more creative, be more flexible, and get more physical activity. And of course, there's asanas and pranayama practices that can be incorporated as well. But again, this is outside of my expertise. I'm a kaya chikitsa, which is basically herbalist for everything. You know, you have any problem, I give you herbs. So this is my form of treatment, and supported by diet and lifestyle habits. So asana, pranayama is another expertise which also is included in this type of treatment. Now, so you could say in ancient times the treatment was basically to go away from the stress of work and the stress of life, and to be away for up to 1 month. And even some serious health conditions in ancient texts said it could take up to 1 year for the person to be away from their responsibilities, away from their job duties, and go into like a retreat or a cottage, in the jungle, away from your responsibilities, away from pollution, away from noise, away from other people, to allow you to rest. And this rejuvenation of the complete body could take anywhere from a month, minimum 28 days, to up to 12 cycles of the moon, or 1 year. And in that case, you would get sneha, which is, type abhyanga, oil massage, steam therapy, and other type of rejuvenative herbs along with your diet. So that would be the complete treatment, change of diet per your dosha and which tissue need to be rejuvenated. Lifestyle changes, which would mostly include rest, relaxation, except for kapha, who should be walking more and more activity and less seating. And then, of course, yoga, asana, pranayama, meditation, and your spiritual practices. All of these will help in rejuvenation. So what's remaining now, of course, is the herbal treatments. And herbal treatments, really depend on the individual and depend on the part of the body. We'll go through some common Rasayana herbs here in a minute. The number one Rasayana strengthening, rejuvenating herb for Vata is, of course, ashwagandha. And of course, this is very good quality ashwagandha. It was wildcrafted for me by request, collected, soaked in milk before it was dried. So this is very, very good quality, restorative for Vata. Now, of course, ashwagandha is also building and strengthening. So if you're too kapha, you can't be taking a lot of ashwagandha if you're trying to lose weight. And if you're too pitta, there is a type of heating, inflammatory aspects to ashwagandha. Now, this ashwagandha apparently doesn't have that because they soaked it in milk first. But ashwagandha is the premier herb for balancing and restoring and rejuvenating Vata dosha, just thin, light, cold, dry person. Now, for pitta, where there's more heat and sharp qualities and still mobility, then shatavari is the preferred herb. Shatavari is sweet, cooling, rejuvenative, very good for the reproductive system for both men and women. And I'll show you some formulas in a minute that are using them. And then bala, of course, is also rejuvenative. Bala means strength, so you can see this is used quite a bit in herbal formulas. Shilijit, which is a mineral rock, see, shilajit. This is a pure shilajit in powder form. Of course, it is processed traditionally in triphala, so they do clean it and treat it with triphala so that's easier to digest. And this is actually an extract, shilajit, dry extract. And it's basically, shilajit is like a mineral supplement. I mean, it's like your trace mineral supplements. Fulvic acid, and other types of trace minerals in there, zinc, and other things are in shilajit to strengthen and rejuvenate your bones. So here we go. And if we are really to pick one product that's rejuvenative that really everybody could take, is here chawanprash. Many people have seen chawanprash. Of course, I import this one from India, so you got the little Hindi characters on there. And chawanprash, of course, is in honey, ghee, and it's good for a building immune system. And the Indian government has advised everybody to take 1 teaspoon of chawanprash because it's building ojas and immunity. And so many people in India are taking this to prevent the respiratory infections and build their immune system. So chawanprash is given out to children who are weak, anybody who's susceptible to infections or cold or flu. And mostly it's taken in the winter. Me and my family, we only take it in the winter time. It's a little warming, a little hot. And, you know, we have pretty good immunity, never get sick, never get colds. Mashallah. But in the winter time, we take 1 teaspoon every day of chawanprash. So for Western herbs, you know, we don't have as many herbs that are building because most of our Western herbal products are in tea. And, you know, tea is not as strengthening because, and building, it's not a rejuvenative or a pure Rasyana. You know, liquids would be like milk and aloe vera and honey and ghee. These are all building and strengthening. So teas generally don't have this quality because they're just extractions of the actual herbs. So you see most Rasyanas, they are generally in a type of jam or mixed with honey or butter or liquid form. But we do have one here we use, and we could say it's a Western type of Rasyana, vitamin mineral tea. And, you know, we have many, you know, nutritious herbs in there, you know, alfalfa, which is what horse live on, nettle, which is maybe one of the most nutritious plants, horsetail, which has got a lot of minerals and vitamins, hibiscus, which is vitamin C, you know, lemon balm, vitamin C, and then cinnamon, coriander, and stevia just for the taste. So, you know, I would say it's a mild Rasyana. We give it to elderly people, children who are depleted, but it's not going to put on weight or be that building. But it's the most we have for Western herbs. Mostly this type of treatment is used in Western herbs. We also have other things we use, like this one called Vata Superfood, very nutritional. And we have in there ashwaganda, which we mentioned earlier is a builder. So this would, you know, a lot of Vatas are very depleted. So we give them this instead of all those cheap synthetic vitamins they're buying. Wheatgrass, dashamula. Dashamula means 10 roots. So this is also building a lot of minerals. Spirulina, chlorella, many people know, is a superfood, true superfood with all your vitamins, minerals, protein, and even fat. Ashwagandha, which we covered, which is building muscles, tissue, and helping support the nervous system. Beetroot powder, which is, of course, again, full of nutrients. Little cumin, cinnamon, and kelp, and ginger to help you digest it. And kelp, of course, for those trace minerals. So this is also rejuvenative type of treatment for weakness. We have other ones here. Here's another one we call Vata Balancing Jam. And in India, see, it says builds and rejuvenates for low body weight, muscle weakness, detoxifies the blood, neurological disorders, and the main herb is ashwagandha. And then some other raisins, even cardamom, ghee, you know, and honey and other things. It's like a jam. And the Indian name, of course, is ashwagandha, A.D. A.D means other things. So it's ashwagandha with other herbs. Leham. Leham means it's like a really thick jam. You have to pull it off the spoon. So you just take one, it's really building and thick. It's like a little meal. But it's balancing Vata very well. It's good for people who are underweight and depleted. And, you know, that's who we provide it for. We also have, there's also specialized rejuvenation herbs in Ayurveda, like this one here is also an Ayurvedic formula. We call it healing lungi, and this is for recovery after asthma, bronchial issues, respiratory infections, and such. And it says for lung infection, but it's really for after the lung infection, most respiratory conditions. And again, we got dashamula, bala, which we mentioned, pipali, haritaki, and pushkar mula, which is good for respiratory system, chikrat, and there's the ghee, sesame oil, honey, and jaggery. So this is like a jam, like we call leham, very thick, slides down, and it's rejuvenative for the respiratory system. So after an infection, after you had an infection or cold or a long cold, then you would take that afterwards to rejuvenate your lungs. And that's a very good example of how Rasyana is working. You can see many people, they've had lung infection or a chronic cold for months, and they still have some chest pain. But it's over. There's no infection. You know, they're testing, negative for the infection, but they still feel the chest pain. That's when we provide this type of restorative for the lungs. And that's the way it works. Say you had joint pain and we treated it. Well, maybe you have the pain's gone, but we haven't really restored those joints. So anybody who's had arthritic treatment with me, you should always do the Rasayana treatment for the joints and muscles afterwards. We also have some specialized one. This one's actually called restorative tabs. We call it restorative tabs. Of course, we give them in India, you can see the real name there. It's called Amlaki Rasayana. See, and it's even got the name Rasayana on it, just what we're talking about. So this is actually the juice of the Amlaki berry. And you can see we use it mostly for modulating immune systems, autoimmune conditions, but it's very cooling. It tones down the immune system when it's overreacting, reduces burning sensations, acidity, ulcers, improves most eye conditions. We give it out for degenerative eye conditions and immunity and autoimmunity. So, and hair loss. And it even says there, anti-aging. So, we have some products that are general use for this, but particularly if we have a person who's aging, their hair's falling out, their eyes are depleted, they're a little inflamed, or their immune system is overactive, like in any autoimmune condition, then that's a perfect product. And it's the juice of the amlaki dried. See, there's amlaki. We have amlaki powder, we have amlaki fruit, but this is the juice of the fruit dried in the sun, and then what is left after it dries is like a little film. And then I scrape up that film and make these little tablets called Amlaki Rasayana. And because it's the juice of the amla. And it's very restorative, and we use it for eyes, we use it for immune system, autoimmune conditions, as I mentioned, and hair loss. And also, there's also some tonics that we use. This one is called strengthening tonic. And usually when I see that word, the Indian name is called Bala Rishta, I think. This one, or is this one? Or this one's Bala Ashwagandha. Maybe Bala, the strengthening herb that I showed you earlier, plus ashwagandha and water and jaggery, little castor oil, rasna, clove, and goksura. So the two key ones are Bala, which means strength, ashwagandha, which is building, and you can see improves strength of muscles, muscle bones, promotes nourishment and digestive system, vata balancing. So this is called Bala Rishta. Rishta means it's fermented. There's a little alcohol in it, like it's almost a wine. It's very light. We usually use the rishtas when a digestion's poor and the person can't have these heavy other formulas. And that one's kind of warm. So we have one for pitta. We call it sweet digestive tonic. And it's called Draksha Rishta, made from grapes. And there's grapes and jaggery and cinnamon. It's very tasty. We use it for people that have hyperacidity, sore throat, coughs, asthma. It's very soothing in some inflammatory skin conditions. It's highly nutritious and even good for children. So it's also considered an Ayurveda, a Rasyan, a rejuvenative. It's not scraping and cleaning fat. It's not flushing out your colon, cleaning out your liver. No, it's building, strengthening, and rejuvenating. We also have some oils. Like we have one called Bala ashwagandha oil we call strengthening, but here just sesame oil is a good idea. Sesame oil is warm and nutritious, and this can be massaged on the body on a regular basis, and it can help you tremendously to strengthen your body. So in Ayurveda, you would get an oil massage. Oil massage is used extensively in rejuvenation therapy. For vata, sesame oil. For pitta, use coconut oil if they're warm and hot and red. And for kapha, you would use like sunflower oil or something like that. So this is the one called ashwagandha bala oil. And this is for weakness, see, muscle weakness and fatigue. We even give it out for people like, have degenerative muscle conditions, even like MS, where their muscles are really weak and frail. Then we give them this, ashwagandha bala talam, means ashwagandha and bala are in the oil, and they're massaged every day for many days, and you can see tremendous improvement in very weak muscles with that. So those are mostly treating your muscles, and the oils are mostly for your muscles. The tonics are more nutritional and absorb quickly. And then if your digestion is better, we have these we call adrenal tonics, you know, kind of a Western term, but we could call it restorative. This one is for vata, you know, supports healthy adrenals, provides non-stimulated energy, and helps. But there you can see some of the same herbs. There's ashwagandha, vidarikan's next, it's like a dried potato. Bala, brahmis for the nerve, tulsis for the immune system, cinnamon for your circulation, cumin and ginger to help digest it because it's kind of a heavy formula, and of course licorice. So this is good for muscles, good for nerves. We also have some bone formulas that can be specific just for the bones. That last one was here it is right here. This, so if you had a bone issue, we'd use this. Would be like a rejuvenative for the bone. Let's see, bone building. See, it's just basically, these are all herbs: ashishringala, pravapishti, arjuna, and there's bala again. See, we see bala everywhere, and dashamula everywhere, because these are very nutritional building herbs. So, and moringa, which is highly nutritious, but it's very hot. So this is for building bones, and the ginger again is just helping you to digest it, because pravapishti, you know, is a type of coral, and it's high in calcium, but you need a little ginger to help you digest it. So this would be treating degenerative or aging bones. We give you the bone formula. It also have these bone tabs, which are there you see the ashwagandha in there again, but this is called lajalut gugulu, and it's a type of resin mixed with some herbs, arjuna, ashwagandha, that are given for building the bones for degenerative bone conditions. This is osteoarthritis, and very high in minerals too. So there's many of these traditional formulas that are used in Ayurveda. This adrenal formula here is kind of warm and hot with the ginger. So if the person is hot already, pitta prakriti, or have a pitta vikriti with heat, inflammation, burning, even hot flashes, then we'd have to give you this one because it's got a little more cooling. See, there's ashwagandha still there, bala is still there, but now we have shatavari, which is the other rejuvenative for pitta. Bramhi is good for vata and pitta. Conch, which you use for Parkinson's and neurological issues. And then coriander and cardamom is for the digestion, both cooling. So this is very similar to the other adrenal tonic, but it's not heating. But you can see the supporting the same, just cooling. That's the only difference, and provides energy, reduces anxiety, good for the nervous systems. So that pretty much covered the products that I have. Of course, according to Ayurveda, there are certain herbs for those of you who are studying Ayurveda that are specific for each organ and each system in your body. And mostly we're using formulas, but sometimes when you want to really treat a particular organ, say you had a cancer in the liver and you've recovered and it's been years later, then we would do a rejuvenation treatment for the liver. So, you know, for the hair, we use mostly bringraj. We do have some formulas for hair as well, you know, and for the mind, brahmi, for the thyroid, kaishor gugulu, for the skin, manjista, turmeric, neem, for the liver, kukti, for reproductive system. And there's bringraj. We have it in oil form, but bringraj is good for the hair. We have a hair formula that's made with bringraj, and we also have hair oil made with bringraj. And this is the premier herb for hair. So often we give it in the hair formula with some other herbs, and we give it in oil, pure bringraj oil for the hair. We use both together. And there we can really focus. If it's for hair loss, and that's the main issue, then we can really focus on that single herb, because we know this is the best herb for this condition, even though there may be supportive herbs. For the liver, probably the premier herb is kukti. You know, for the joints, probably the premier formula is yogaraj gugulu. And the female reproductive system, the premier herb is ashoka. So even after birth, there's rejuvenation therapies for the woman's uterus, and any type of surgery, car accident. There always should. These are the opportunities to do rejuvenation therapy. So we do have one for hair and nails. And you can see first ingredient, Bringraj. There's amlaki also, bramhi, gotkula, ashwagandha, prapapanchment. Prapapanchment is 5 things from the sea: the shell, the oyster, the pearl, conch, shell, and coral. These are all from the ocean, and they're high in minerals and good for building the bones. So all those herbs are very nourishing, soothing, and rejuvenating. And mostly you'll find they have a kind of a sweet taste. And the herbs should be taken in what's called a anupana, a carrier to go with it. So if you're building the bones, say you're doing the bone building formula, if we look carefully, it says right on there, take with in warm milk. So that's considered the anupana milk, and we don't mean pasteurized, homogenized milk. We need the raw milk. So taking it in the right carrier, you have to have the right herb for the right tissue. In this case, we're talking about bones, and you have to take it with the right substance. The carrier mostly is used as milk for bones in particular, and a lot of times aloe vera is used as a carrier. It's very good for the skin and the blood. And like many of these, like chawanprash, we can see they're in honey and ghee, and that's the carrier. So that's why you don't see rejuvenative products in tea. They're not rejuvenative enough. So it's a big subject. It's a whole area of Ayurveda that you could specialize in. And there's many minerals and basmas that are also used in Ayurveda. And there's also treatments, Rasaiyana herbs and treatments for particular systems in the body. And we just covered specific tissues. So it is a big science. And I encourage everybody who's aging with no major health concerns to do Rasaiyana treatment on a regular basis. And these type of Rasaiyana herbs, it's not like you have to come in every month for a treatment. I can load you up on the herbs, or you can continue to purchase them and go over 6 months, because it's a building type of treatment, not something we're treating a chronic health condition where we really have to keep an eye on the person and do regular follow-ups as they progress. When you're doing this Rasaiyana rejuvenation type of treatments, you can go for months and months on these treatments, and really for your whole life. In fact, what is the goal? The goal here in this type of treatment is to live longer. That's it. That is your goal, to extend your life. And that's why they call it in Ayurveda, they don't call it aging treatment, they call it longevity treatment. So when you come and you say, okay, you've treated me, Khabir, for all these health issues, now I would like to extend my life. I would like to rejuvenate my skin to be more, youthful. I would like to rejuvenate my mind to be more sharp. I like to strengthen my immunity so I get less infections and such, and strengthen my bones as I age. This is what you should be thinking in, even after 50, but particularly after 65, you should be focusing on these types of treatments after you've treated your chronic health conditions. And so feel free to contact me if you would like this type of rejuvenation treatment, or find a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner in your area, or go to India. And that's what we're basically doing in India, with our retreat, is we're allowing people to get away from their regular life, their pressures, the stress, and relax in a secluded place where they can receive daily treatments, rejuvenative diet, and herbs prepare for them. Of course, many people in these type of retreats, they need a lot of serious treatment for their chronic health condition, but not all the time. If you don't have serious health condition, then you could go to the same retreat and just take the rejuvenation treatment. So I think I'll put on my website, rejuvenation treatment, and add it as another category of service and try to encourage this type of service. You could call it prevention. You could call it maintenance of your tissue, maintenance of all your systems in the body, making sure everything is strong, all your tissue is strong and healthy, not depleted, not just your blood. I mean, doctor looks at your blood, but he doesn't see everything else. I mean, they can measure bone density and things like this, but Ayurveda is much more deep, much more sophisticated, and much more concerned about minor imbalances and not just life-threatening conditions. So once again, I hope that helped you very much. I hope you contact me, and I hope you all feel more rejuvenated and see more hope in extending your life. And I hope some of you contact me and say, rejuvenate me. I want to do Rasyana Chikisa now that you've treated me for the other conditions. And it would be my pleasure to do so. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. And I hope sincerely this has benefited you. And I hope my knowledge of Ayurveda has been sufficient. And feel free to comment if there's something I'm missing or there's any error in my teachings, as I do my best to communicate and explain Ayurveda to the extent of my knowledge.